Hot off the success of the second film, a third was rushed into development. Jeffrey Reddick, the series creator, was unable to return, but Glenn Morgan and James Wong did. They were the writer and director of the first film. An executive at New Line had an idea that the opening disaster should involve a roller coaster. They were going to shoot it in 3D, and it was going to be the final movie in the trilogy. Well, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. This time, Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ryan Merriman lead a new cast in this standalone sequel, Final Destination 3. On a senior class night at a local amusement park, Wendy Christensen has a vision that the roller coaster she is on will crash. She manages to take 9 people off of it before it does crash. One by one, the survivors fall in excruciating manner. We know the formula. But there's a few minor tweaks this time. Wendy gets clues through pictures that she took before the disaster, and she doesn't know who everyone on the roller coaster is due to only seeing the back of their heads.
You can run, but you cannot hide.
Tony Todd makes a brief vocal cameo as the devil on the roller coaster and as the train conductor at the end of the movie. He was unable to appear physically in the film this time, but his cameo is nice.
End of the line. The next stop is the end of the line.
By this point, the formula of the franchise had been set. Final Destination 2 had managed to change up things and add to the mythology. This one doesn't. Once again, our characters are all classmates, which is nice. They have pre-existing relationships, and we're dropped into it. I do prefer that over everybody being strangers. It was 2006, and there were a couple of movies out at the time that I had wanted to see. I was really big on what did the critics like and what got Oscar nominations. And I got my sister to drop me off at the movies for the day. My plan was to see Final Destination 3, Brokeback Mountain, and then end it all with the When a Stranger Calls remake. I got to the box office, I talked to the guy, and he asked to see my ID. I was 15, and I lied and said, "Oh, darn, I don't have my ID with me." And he said, "All right, fine, but just for this." And so I got to go see Final Destination 3. When the movie got over, I went up to the box office to go see Brokeback Mountain, and it was the same guy working, and I was like, "Hey, can I see Brokeback Mountain?" And he said no. Which, honestly, how many male 15-year-olds were trying to go see Brokeback Mountain? Come on, dude. So I saw the Pink Panther remake instead. And that was a choice I made. So the opening crash in this movie makes no sense whatsoever. I went back when editing the footage numerous times to try and make sense of this. Lewis's seat gets the bar pushed down, and that loosens a cable, so the car is leaking fluid. Then Wendy has her premonition. But in her premonition, Frankie has a camcorder and it gets slapped out of his hand. It wraps around the track, and then the car hits it, causing the first car on the roller coaster to derail. Frankie gets off of the roller coaster with Wendy, so his camcorder shouldn't wrap around the track, so the disaster couldn't happen the way Wendy saw it, but the disaster does happen the way Wendy sees it, and honestly, this is something that has bugged me for 20 years. That might be the best freakout acting in this entire franchise. Who knows? Name game, time to play that name game. So, Jason Weiss, Wendy's boyfriend, is named after Robert Weiss, who was the director of The Haunting. Louis Romero is named for George A. Romero, director of Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. He's the godfather of the zombie that we know today. Wendy and Julie Christensen is an homage to Benjamin Christensen, who was the director of the silent film Haxan. Kevin Fisher is a reference to Terrence Fisher, who directed a lot of Hammer horror movies. And Frankie Cheeks is a reference to Uwe Boll, who is ass or butt cheeks. There's a lot more references in this movie.
Is down at state for football training camp. State's team is called the Sultans. That's it. That's the clue.
Like previous movies, we get asshole characters who have a little bit more going on than we expected. There's a scene where Lewis has a moment during a funeral where we get some shades to his character. Ashley and Ashlyn are two popular girls who we would expect to be the bitchy mean girls, but they invite Wendy to go tanning with her just so that they can talk and she can get whatever she needs to off of her chest. Ian McKinley, our resident goth, has a moment at a funeral where he talks about how death is not fair with who it takes. There are small moments here that I think help flesh out these characters. They're still not great or anything groundbreaking, but it is nice to have this little bit of development. And then there's Frankie Cheeks. Honestly, if there's one character in this franchise that I hate more than any other, it's Frankie Cheeks. Frankie graduated high school like 2 years ago, but he hangs around so he can hit on high school girls. He's disgusting. He is repugnant. He's a character that you cannot wait to die. And the movie fucks it up. See, his death, we don't get to see him die and know that it's him. A disaster happens, somebody dies, we see that somebody dies, and then the camera pans around to show that, oh, that was Frankie who died. The fuck? I want to see Frankie die, and I want to know that it's him. I don't want rewatches to be like, oh yeah, that's Frankie in front of him, then he gonna die. Ugh, the tanning bed. Ugh. I think the 1-2 punch between I Still Know What You Did Last Summer and this made it so I will never get in a tanning bed ever.
Maybe it's supposed to be colder for the machines or whatever. A few degrees won't hurt.
Okay, but you did this to yourself, okay? What happens next is on you. You were told what to do. Do better.
It's way too warm in here now, huh?
This was one of the first movies where I really noticed product placement in dialogue and on screen. One character mentions not having her iPod. Another character mentions wanting a PSP. I remember sitting there in the theater thinking, oh, that's going to age well. Wendy's phone is a Motorola Razr flip phone, which was the coolest phone to have in 2006. Let's be real here. That's a great cut. Something else I don't like about this movie is we're told rather than shown that Wendy is a control freak. She constantly mentions, oh, I'm such a control freak. I'm such a control freak. Her boyfriend mentions that roller coasters are only scary because it's a lack of control. The movie hits you over the head with, hey, you have no control. And there's only once or twice that we get to see it, that she is a control freak. Now, on the flip side, there is a moment that I do like where she hands her keys to somebody and says, you drive. She is giving up control. It is a subtle moment. It's just, I wish that the first part of her arc had been built up more.
His presence is the opposite of how Jay made me feel. It's cold.
The more I rewatch this movie, the less I like Wendy as our lead character. But I will say, Mary Elizabeth Winstead gives the best performance of our visionaries so far. There's a reason she's gone on to become the star that she became. This installment just feels very episodic. Hey, let's go talk to who's next on the list. Hey, death is coming for us all. I don't believe you. Well, shit. That person just died. Let's go to the next person on the list. Hey, death is coming for you. I don't believe you. Well, shit. Lather, rinse, repeat. It gets frustrating. Now, something I do like is Kevin and Wendy's relationship. They start the movie as mutual friends, kind of. See, they're dating each other's best friend. That's the only reason they're in the same group together. The disaster happens. He tries to take care of her. She doesn't want it. And then the first kill happens. And he's there for her. He's following her. He's there almost every single step of the way, like, yep, nope, I'm in. Let's go. And they develop this friendship that's really nice to watch. They have great chemistry. You can almost buy that a year, 2 years down the line, these two could start dating. They could be just friends. But whatever they do, they're going to be in each other's lives. By this point, Alex was practically in handcuffs, but Wendy just kind of gets a pass. And it's like, the fuck? There's no, we're watching you. Mm. Our big third act in the movie takes place at the town's tricentennial celebration, and it's a good setting. In fact, all the settings for this movie are really good. We have a tanning salon. Tanning beds are scary. We've got a gym. Gyms can be dangerous. We've got a hardware store. Hardware stores can be creepy, okay? I don't care. And then we've got the tricentennial celebration where you've got fireworks, horses, sharp things all over, grills that can explode. There's a lot of ways that death can work its way down its list, and it tries to in quick succession. Watching the movie this time, it really reminded me of I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Whoa, 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 whoa. Put down the pitchfork. I see you. Put it down. Okay. We have a standalone sequel here in 2006-ish, where the fashion, the technology, all of it screams 2000s. We've got no real connection to the first one except, hey, these events are happening again. And we even have a scene of somebody going, hey, I just looked this up online and all these events have happened before. This happened here in this. Let me tell you about the first movie. Something that bugs me about this too is we're getting towards the end of the movie. We're in the third act. And one of the characters has been skipped on the list. Somebody intervened and death skipped this person. And the person is acting like, hey, this means I'm not on death's list at all. And the other characters are just like, yep, that's how it happened before. There's no moment where they went, no, actually, when we were looking at this, these people had been skipped and then death still came for them. And as an audience member, you're just sitting there going, okay, I know I want you to change the formula, but I know you're not changing it that much.
What do I care? It skipped me. For me, it is over. I'm not dying.
It feels like they're trying to hit the same beats as the first movie again, including an epilogue set later. I'm sorry, that's unfair. This one is set 5 months later. The first movie, the epilogue was set 6 months later. They're totally different things. That's my bad. This is a sequel that I like less and less the more I go back to it. I think a lot of the reason for it is because this does nothing new. It really is just repeating the first movie again on a basic level. Sure, the kills are cool when CG isn't involved, and there are cool ideas for sets there, but the mythology is not expanded upon. It just kind of is. But this did really well. When this left theaters, it was the highest grossing movie in the franchise at $118 million. New Line said, hey, remember all those ideas we had about the third one? Where we're going to do it in 3D and it's going to be the last one? Let's do that. So let's do the Final Destination in 3D.